I'm having my Firebrand coffee from Japan. Yes.
I'm drinking a cherry lime Junie.
I just got a regular coffee, but in a Snoopy mug.
Wow.
Do you know how much I love beagles? You don't know. You couldn't
No, I don't.
possibly know.
This podcast is brought to you by the Anime Addicts community. If you want to support the podcast and help out our show, you can go to our Patreon page, or you can go to our website, AAAPodcast.com. Click the Join the AAA button on the top. You're going to be able to get all the extra content. You'll be able to hear our Hobby Addicts, where we talk about lots of video games, our hentai episodes, where we talk about the unspeakables, and also the after parties. All this exclusive content just for you if you support the show. So head over to Patreon. Help out the podcast, do a good thing. And now it's time to start the show.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at AAAPodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Welcome into episode 808. Wow. I'm not going to lie, I thought it was 807. But I've been gone, okay? So I've been gone a while, but I'm back. Mitsuki is here, making your anime addiction worse. Welcome into the podcast on this brisk December day. It might be my brother's birthday today. I'm not sure. That's probably not a good thing.
Maybe you should verify that.
I am joined by a man. He's wearing an Alex Ovechkin Capitals jersey. His name's Detective Otaku, and he'll fuck you up. What's up?
That's goddamn right. I'm doing great. We had a bit of a dusting here in the greater Washington, D.C. area, and we've got probably about 30-mile-an-hour polar winds, so it feels like 5 degrees outside right now. But I am the healthiest of the trio today, so I'm in high spirits and ready to talk some anime along with the Lady Caroline.
Hello, hello. Yes, I am also under the weather. The raspiness is coming through, I think. But otherwise, I'm feeling okay. But I got a little bit more than a dusting of snow last night, and I just had to drive an hour in it. But more on that in the Hobby Addicts.
It just makes your voice sultry when it's all scratchy like that. You know what I'm saying? So
there's a whole soundboard that can be created just with this Caroline voice.
So today I am drinking a Mick Cafe because I've been out of town for 2 weeks and I'm finally back, but I have no food. So Pancake, pregnant though she is, went out and got food. So God bless her. I also have an empty Firebrand coffee can that I took back from Japan because I love Firebrand coffee so much. Now the question is, can I fit this massive American-sized coffee from McDonald's into this tiny Japanese-sized can from Japan so I can feel like I'm drinking?
Definitively no.
I would say you could fill it twice, thrice perhaps.
I think, what is more than thrice? Quice?
Twice?
Twice.
That is not a word. Caroline's also drinking coffee, and what is this frou-frou? Oh, the mug is cute. It is a Snoopy mug. Yes, although you have some weird black thing on top of your cup. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, no, it's like a top.
Oh, I see. And we have a frou-frou, little fancy girly drink with Otaku Detective. Detective, tell us, what are you drinking?
This is sparkling tea with adaptogens.
Oh.
Junie for a happy mind.
Oh, my Lord.
It is decaffeinated cherry lime, and it is USDA organic. I'm only drinking it because I want to clear space in the fridge for beer.
Based.
Really? That's the only reason?
That is legitimately the only reason.
All right, let's get through the bullshit.
Taking up beer space. Let's go.
If you want to watch the show, you can do it on twitch.tv and on YouTube. We are live Sundays at 10 a.m. It's a new time. Please take note. more convenient pretty much for everybody. So follow us, give us a like, tell your friends. We've been doing this a long time, and we love you. Also, Caroline, the Discord. You have so much going on,
Yes.
and I can't possibly do it justice,
I do.
so I'm going to ask you to do it.
Well, I mean, it's nothing too crazy. We got Anime Club, of course. We are meeting up this upcoming Wednesday, the 17th. The theme is Dub-cember, and we'll be talking about a show with a fairly well-received English dub, Cromartie High School.
Oh, wow.
I only just started it, and it's quite funny. But aged, certainly. Like, there are a couple things they say in that show they probably would not be dubbing today. But that's neither here nor there. We also have the Secret Santa that is already closed. No more submissions.
Oh.
But everybody is hard at work getting little gifts of recommendations to each other on our Discord. It's something we do every year. So if you're interested in taking part, you'll just have to wait until next year. But start early. Get to know everybody on the Discord ahead of time. And actually, because Mitz was a little jealous that he wasn't having fun.
Oh my gosh.
And he said, is it too late to be part of the Secret Santa? And I said, definitively yes. It's been done for a week.
Oh no.
But that does bring a good idea to do a little Secret Santa amongst the hosts.
Oh.
So I'll be putting together some secret pairs, and I suppose we'll talk about it on a future date on the podcast sometime. So that ought to be fun.
Please keep my Secret Santa anime recommendation short and non-moe. Thank you. Also, over under on how many minutes Caroline will last during this episode before she loses her voice. Detective.
It's really just raspy. That being said, anything's possible. So I'm just gonna try to keep the talking to more of a minimum than usual today.
I think she's going to preserve her voice with tenuous interjections while you and I ramble back and forth.
Well, on the
But
podcast
who am I
today.
kidding? I can't help myself but talk.
Well, that's why you're here. In fact, yes, exactly. So on the podcast today, yes, it is horrific AI dubs coming out of Amazon. I have a series of clips to play for you later, and yes, they are bad. They're bad. They're very bad clips, but you'll enjoy listening to them. And then also, City, the animation. We'll be talking about City, the animation. So very excited about that. As I enjoyed, not to bury the lead, I enjoyed watching City from end to end. So let's let that positivity roll. All right, now it's time for the big news of the week.
おー、大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
All right, well, I think Paramount Pictures was pissed off because Netflix tried to buy Warner Brothers. We talked about that previously on the podcast. And so Paramount came over the top and offered a much larger bid than Netflix did. So, and I didn't know this, but Paramount has also been recently bought. So they were bought by David Ellison's Skydance Media. Sorry, my voice is all fucked up. And
This
then
is the sultry podcast.
Yeah, I've been sick my voice hasn't been right for a whole month now. So, yeah, David Ellison bought Paramount, and then Netflix came in and they were going to buy Warner Brothers and CNN and a bunch of other stuff. And apparently there had been a battle between Netflix and Paramount to already buy it previously, and you guys touched on this last week or whatever. But so Netflix came in and they had bid $72 billion for Warner Brothers, which to me sounds like a massive overbid. I'm not really sure. What the fuck do I know? But then Paramount got FOMO, and they came in and they said, "Hey, $72 billion, hold my beer. Here, how about $108 billion?" So it may. I don't think they know what's going to happen yet, but I think it may be that Netflix actually won't obtain control of all the properties that Warner Brothers owns, and it may go to Paramount. So, but I do know one thing, and according to the article, the Hollywood is freaking their shit out because it's just more job losses coming their way. So it hasn't.
Warner Brothers. It's like, guys, stop fighting over me, kind of thing. And then at the end of the day, they'll be like, in fact, I don't need either of you. I choose myself. And then everything goes on as normal.
Well, it's just interesting. I mean, I continue to believe that Hollywood is truly dead. I think that they're definitely screwed. I think that they're dead before AI even gets to them, to be honest, for the most part. We're not even at the point of, like, actors having their faces recreated by AI in movies and stuff like that. It's just, you know, apparently there were a lot of job losses when Paramount got bought, and then there's going to be even more job losses with Warner Brothers, and I don't know. I feel sad about it because I am definitely one of those people that likes to get excited for a movie and go to the theater and have the candy and all that bullshit because I'm a little older, and that's how I grew up. So there's something very sterile and unspecial about watching movies in your bed, in your bedroom. That's how I feel. I don't know. How do you guys feel?
I mean, I have a 77-inch television in my basement, so I've got the theater experience. But what I will say is this. Hollywood, just quality from a story writing perspective, has been on probably a good 15-year nosedive. And they cannot help themselves because they suffer from sequel prequel-itis. Everything is now something that predates an already existing story or a sequel to something that did really well, and it's very rare that a well done, well received, high grossing original project gets released. But when it happens, it does phenomenal. It just, we're not getting them at the rate that we used to, and I don't really know what the fix is, but I think we're just seeing it where there's probably going to be 2 or 3 big companies when the dust all settles, and we're all going to suffer from reduced quality, super long wait times, like with the final season of Stranger Things. It's going to be a net negative for the consumer in my eyes.
Yeah, and on top of that, they want people to go to theaters and see these movies, but you have to pay $20 for a ticket, and then you're sitting in a theater in the dark, and so you're going to be hungry, you're going to be thirsty, so obviously you're going to get a snack, like popcorn or sodas or whatever. And that's like another $20 on top of that. So they're not exactly helping themselves, the system of theaters and producers and directors and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's not exactly the environment for people to want to go out for movies anymore.
Yeah, I saw a a clip from who was it? The Critical Drinker, I think it was, on YouTube. He was talking about movie theaters, and he was like, "Yeah, and then you'll sit down, and just as the movie starts, your daughter will have to get up to take a piss. So you get up and you're walking down the aisle to try not to step on people's toes, and meanwhile you're smelling everyone's farts and the sounds of them crunching and eating food and all this shit, and it doesn't paint a very pleasant experience for the theater compared to being in your living room, but I'm still not going to lie. I still like going to the movies, and I do go to the movies. So, and
me too.
Yeah.
You do what you got to do, but they don't help themselves either with the 15 to 20 minutes of commercials before the fucking thing starts. Like,
Now, I don't mind that too much myself. I love watching the trailers.
No, trailers are fine. I'm talking about the commercials, like product advertisements before.
T-Mobile and all this bullshit.
Right. Like, I can do without the... It started with those damn Fanta girls in the 2000s, and it's been a snowball ever since.
Get off my
Fanta
lawn.
girl?
Yeah. I don't know. The one of Want a Fanta girls?
Yeah. Wanna Fanta, don't you wanna? I hate it.
I guess I missed that. I don't remember that.
No, you didn't miss anything.
No, it was just terrible and a waste of time.
So, I think that the only thing I would add to this story, and then we can move on, is that whether or not people may or may not care, but it's the takeover bid by Paramount of Warner Brothers is backed by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi. So I don't know if people care, but people seem to get all spun up about that kind of stuff in various capacities. But I don't know. I guess everything is owned by somebody, even if it's a foreign country or a foreign entity.
Strange.
It is a little weird. In other news, Gainax Studios is officially dead. So I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but very sad.
Heard that.
I saw that.
Now, I thought they had been dead for a while because we talked about this, years ago, I think, about the death of Gainax and playing the sad violin music and all that shit on the podcast. But apparently, it was announced by the official Gazette from 4 days ago that they have completed their bankruptcy reorganization and have now officially ceased to exist as a corporation, bringing its nearly 42-year history to an end. So, and I don't really care. I already mourned the death of this, but for those of you that don't know, Gainax had such hits as Evangelion, Fooly Cooly, Gurren Lagann. You can go back further, Gunbuster, a whole bunch of stuff, you know. So it's a shame. Gainax obviously had a big legacy and a lot of inspiration, but Hideaki Anno has also moved on and is now doing things from Studio Kara, which you still have Studio Kara you can always look at. What do you guys think? Are you sad about this?
I mean, as you said, I thought this was already a thing. I guess it's just an official thing now. I never really was all that attached to Gainax, or I always call it Gainax, but I wasn't sure what the official pronunciation is.
It's Gainax. You're right.
Yeah, I'm not really attached to the shows very much, and sure, like they have their own place in the iconic history of anime, but they weren't coming out with anything really, so I'm kind of okay.
Yeah, I'm. It's a big nothing burger for me. It's the circle of life. It's the wheel of fortune. It happens. But, thank you for Evangelion, but only the first 22 episodes. After that, we all know how I feel about that. Other than that, Rip, thanks for your contribution.
Pour one out. I'm going to have a little Mick Cafe in your honor.
I'll pour out some Junie for them. Some cherry lime.
My pancreas is screaming from the
coffee.
Sugar. Yeah, have some coffee. Do it. All right, I'm going to shut my mouth now and listen to your guys' news stories. What do you got?
I'll go first. As if anybody wasn't sick of me chiming in about this franchise.
Please.
Mitts, the horse girls can't stop winning.
Yes! Oh, God.
That's right, folks. Your winner for the 2025 Mobile Game of the Year is, in fact, Uma Musume Pretty Derby. Yes. That's right. For those of you who live under a rock, that is a simulation game. And yes, it is part of the Uma Musume project, a multimedia franchise produced by Cygames, who Mitz is desperately trying to invest in. It consists of anime, manga, music, and games that tell stories of characters inspired by real-life racehorses. And along with their classmates and trainers, the Uma Musume work towards every racer's dream, winning the goddamn Twinkle series.
You goddamn right.
That's
the
right.
Twinkle series. Oh, my God.
That's what it's called, brother. But in addition to this prestigious win at the Game Awards, Uma Musume has continued to earn multiple industry honors, including Best Mobile Game at the Thailand Game Show, the Best Game Award from Google Play, the Excellence Prize at the Japan Game Awards, several Famitsu Awards recognizing its character design, live operations, and ongoing community engagement. Players around the world have unanimously hailed the merits of the game, giving the title overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam, and a 4.5 out of 5 on the App Store, and a 4.4 out of 5 on Google Play. So, if you haven't hopped on board with the Horse Girls, maybe now you should try the 2025 Mobile Game of the Year.
Have you tried it?
Are you kidding?
I am an avid player of this game.
Has he played it?
Sure.
I consume this franchise. I consume this franchise from every single anime project to the game to the songs. They've got me hook, line, and sinker.
I think the only thing more you can do is purchase one of the horses that the show is based off of. I'm putting that thought in your mind.
Why
I'm
not?
leaving it there.
You present a compelling argument.
You should.
The funny thing is my wife's uncle does own racehorses, and I could reach out to him and be like, what would it take to maybe buy and run a horse in Japan?
That is the only thing you can do to top yourself right now.
But I would have to come up with a very American name for her because, they've got names like Special Week and Grass Wonder and all these very pretty gentle names. I need to get something American that's like, I don't know, energy drink capitalism. Like, I don't know. Like, I got to come up with something American for over there. But that would be awesome.
I think you should
I'll reach
start
out
your
to
own
Raggedy.
stable.
We can. I was saying, me and Raggedy can make a joint venture and have our own stable of horses. That would be awesome.
All with names that relate to anime.
Yes, I think that would probably be where we started. Like, but we would have to do hybrid anime names. I don't know how it would work. That'd be a good thing to spitball on a Hobby Addicts. But anyways, what about you, Caroline? I'm sure you have some good news or big news.
Not good news, unfortunately.
Not good news.
Not good news. Crunchyroll has revealed in an advertisement during its own free streams that it'll be halting free ad-supported streaming by December 31st.
Of course.
Yeah. So, but just side note, the company's subscription tiers and other ad-supported streaming channels are unaffected. Only certain titles were available for ad-supported streaming without a subscription, including Cowboy Bebop, Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, My Dress Up Darling, My Hero, One Piece, Spy X Family, and a lot more. And Crunchyroll had previously announced in March of 2022 that it will be no longer automatically offering free ad-supported viewing for all shows starting with its spring 2022 season lineup. Crunchyroll instead required that viewers have a subscription to access new and continuing simulcasts. The company added that the first 3 episodes of each title would be available for ad-supported viewing for a week after their premiere on Crunchyroll until a certain point, and subsequent episodes would be limited to subscribers. So Crunchyroll previously allowed free ad-supported streaming for simulcast titles 1 week after the episode premiered, and man, we were living high as anime fans, having this service do all that for us, and now they're just like every other service.
Yeah, of course.
I'm anticipating they'll eventually be like Netflix and be like, oh, you cannot also share subscriptions. Like, we will firewall each house that you live in, so if you get outside of that house, you can't use it. It's so annoying nowadays, and they're just following suit.
Well, they have to milk every drop out of you, Caroline. Every single morsel and scrap of blood. Eventually, it'll just be like, take the blood. There's nothing left. Because they want their money, and they want it now. Just like
They're
J.G.
gonna make you pay
Wentworth.
per episode eventually.
I have a
want the next
structured
episode?
settlement, and I need your cash now.
No.
Call
That's right.
J.G. Wentworth 877 cash.
Sorry, no more cash. Just take the blood. I have no more.
That's right.
So that sucks, but ultimately has no impact on me because I was already paying for it. So.
Yeah, me too. It's just. It was such a nice thing to have, especially for newer anime fans that were not ready to bite the bullet on a full-on anime subscription service.
It is unfortunate. I bought a car yesterday. I don't know if anybody
Okay,
if
right.
that matters.
GG.
I'm a cheap son of a bitch, and I as Pancake says, I hoard my money like a dragon. Like a dragon that you'd find sitting on top of like a big mountain of gold coins.
Bitch doesn't even use a bank. He's just got a room in the house that's just piled with money, and he lays on it.
And it's not risk. This isn't really a non sequitur. It is to the point where I was talking to the dealership guy, and yes, I did get them down to I had the finance guy confirm that they took a $2,300 loss on the car. I was like, that's right, you fucking did. That's right. That's it. All it pays to be a persistent little son of a bitch when you're buying cars. But I told the guy, I said, listen, my wife and I went to Taco Bell the other night, and it was like $40 for not really anything special, and I was blown away. And then Pancake was like, oh, but that Taco Bell, it really hit, didn't it? And I was like, it did hit, and it hit hard in the wallet. Okay. And I said, do you ever get tired of just being fucked everywhere you go at every single possible turn? And thus bringing me back to Crunchyroll, because we're all just getting fucked. Everything is consumer non-friendly. It'd be really nice to see a consumer-friendly move once in a while in the marketplace. And so I told the guy at the dealership, I said, so my goal today is to leave here feeling like I didn't get fucked. Basically, is what I said to him straight up. But yeah, it's just a shame because I feel like things used to be like consumer friendly in at least a little bit, and now it just seems like everything is becoming harder for consumers, and it's just a shame. The days of buying something and feeling really good about it, like you won and like you're getting great value, are just getting harder to come by, and it's a real bummer, but we're all in it together, I guess is the point. So
Well, if you want an example of an actually good purchase for a good price, this karaoke machine.
oh yeah,
I bought a
Wow.
karaoke machine. Originally $100.
Yeah.
I was not going to get myself one of these. I really didn't really. I mean, I like karaoke, but it's not that big a deal to me for that much money. My sister's boyfriend saw a deal for it online. I got
Yeah.
this thing for $30,
Wow.
bitches.
That is a fucking deal.
I like
Oh
it.
man, let's go back to the Game Awards briefly. I just wanted to point out that Expedition 33 did win everything, pretty much as it should have.
All of them.
As it should have. Silk Song or whatever never had a chance. Expedition 33 was the best game that came out in the last year, and probably several years before that even. And I will say I have not invested in Psy games, but I am currently down 16% on the purchase of Capcom. So I have looking. Fuck you,
Well,
Capcom.
Just wait, because they just announced the other day a new Mega Man game is coming.
They did.
That
And they
will-
also announced that Leon Kennedy is indeed in Resident Evil 9. So may all of the women and men of the world rejoice, because if there's one man I would be gay for, other than Henry Cavill, it is Leon Kennedy. September 30th, 1998. The cop inside me died that day, and Raccoon City was destroyed thanks to the bioweapons created by Umbrella.
Speaking of Capcom, did you see the Street Fighter movie teaser trailer dropped?
I did not, but I want to see that.
Looks fucking fantastic.
But can it be
it
as
looks-
good as the old one?
Oh,
Come
the old
on.
one is pure camp. It's
Yes.
pure camp.
Yes, it is.
But this one looks absolutely legit. I encourage you, maybe on Hobby Addicts, to watch the trailer, because it's going to get you hype. I feel
Okay.
comfortable about that.
All right. Wow. Okay. All right. And if you decide you want to buy Taiki's shuttle, you let me know, because I have some more money. I sell this Capcom stock and give you the money, so you can buy Taiki's shuttle, but I get to ride first. So. Okay. Anything else?
Okay. No, not me.
All right. If there's nothing else, let me start this next segment by playing a clip for you that I harvested from the internet.
I have a bad feeling about this. All I need from you is your head. The rest can rot in the dirt, like the useless scrap metal that you are.
Indeed. So Amazon thought that they would try to pull a fast one, I guess, and use AI beta, as it was termed, generated language offerings for dubs on anime on their service. So the blowback from this was pretty extreme, enough that Amazon appears to have removed its AI-generated dubs for several shows that they still have on Prime, but now I guess don't have a dub at all. After widespread ridicule from viewers and etc. I barely even know why Amazon gives a shit. They own everything in the world. They own all of us. And I'm amazed that they even bothered to pull this shit down, because they're just at the point where they're just too big to fail. Honestly, they own all of our asses. It's crazy. But they did have the only AI generated dub that is still up is a Spanish dub for Vinland Saga, which apparently hasn't been removed. But the dubs were recently added to Banana Fish, No Game No Life, Vinland Saga, Journal of the Mysterious Creatures, which I haven't seen, etc. So, and they were labeled as AI beta, but yeah, pretty bad stuff. And I have more clips here I'll play for you. But what do you guys think about this to start off with?
It's so hilarious. I'm glad that it's this bad. I'm so glad, because hopefully this just deters anybody from going down this stupid route.
I agree. It's not only is it a frightening glimpse into what I think is the future of dubbing, but it was just comically bad. And the one thing I can say, yes, they are rich enough that they are fail proof, but public perception still does carry some weight. So I saw a thing where not only did they pull it down, but they actually made like I don't know if it was a press release or a Twitter post or whatever, but basically they said that oh, we were just testing this. There was no intended permanency behind this. We were just giving it a go to see how things went, and we appreciate the feedback from all of our customers. But I mean, let's be honest. If nobody had noticed or said anything, they would probably be cranking out more and more AI dubs. But it was awful. It was
Now,
the oh
here's what they should have done. They should have had like a test project, like picked one show and AI dubbed it, like an episode or just even a clip, and put it out on social media and say, what if your anime was AI dubbed? And if it was bad, people would just laugh and say, oh, that's a funny joke. But if people were, for it, then they could have just continued the project. And it's very low risk that way. But they just went and they full forced believed that people would go for this.
All right. So, and with that, we'll continue this, but I'm going to play another drop for you. Let's see. This one is from... Let's just play all of the No Game, No Life drops. Here's a good one.
Do you mind if I ask you a silly question? Why are you straddling me right now?
Riku, you told me to stay in your sight.
I just meant that you should stay close by me.
What
I
is
think
that
it's
accent he has?
I think he's trying to sound like he's drunk. He's like, I don't know. I just straddled me. It's so bad. It's so bad.
This is goodbye.
I will say that the funny thing is that I still think this is better than the dubs you would have gotten from like Garzy's Wing or MD Geist back in the day. Some of these
But
really
those
old.
are iconic now.
Yeah, well, yeah, but who's to say that AI dubs couldn't also become iconic eventually in the future? They won't be.
I mean, you're right, but to me, it almost sounds like somebody doing like a voice actor talent show, and they've got themselves convinced, like, I've got the chops to be a voice actor, and then they go in front of the judges, and that's what they do. Like, that's what it sounds like to me. It's awful. It's just
You know what this
awful.
kind of reminds me of is, have you guys ever seen online like scenes from this Pinocchio movie? It was like made overseas or something like that, and they got English, like real actual voice actors to do this, but the weirdest voice acting possible for the character Pinocchio. And so he goes up to Geppetto. He's like, Father, when are you gonna let me out and be on my own? It's
What
so
the hell?
funny.
I wish I had that
so
clip too.
goofy.
I immediately need to find this.
Yes, you do. You do. Like, just look up Father, when are you going to let me be on my own? I think you'll find it, Pinocchio. But that's besides the point. It's not really a part of this discussion, is it?
Well, so I have a couple of questions about these AI dubs, and I don't expect we're going to have answers necessarily. But my first thought is, so we all watch YouTube videos, I assume, and a lot of those videos are done with AI voices, and some of them are. It's difficult at times to tell that it's a fake voice. It can be. Now you get used to hearing the same voice all over the place, and so like that becomes obvious. But my thought is, why is Amazon using such an, let's be honest, not a very good dub program or whatever the hell you would call it, whereas YouTube seems to be able to pull this off pretty well? I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think it has to do with whatever AI that they're using. I think it's, if you just follow the dollar signs, it's probably an Amazon proprietary AI program that, it's all about skirting, I'm assuming, royalties for performers, because the largest and loudest group of people that had an issue with this when it first started happening and being noticed were the voice actors. So my assumption is that if their dubs are not being streamed, there's no royalties to be had. So this is just a way of escaping paying humans money. That's the way I see it. So I think it's just Amazon has not developed a perfect AI dubbing model where YouTube probably uses one that's far ahead of theirs. And I think it's all just about proprietary stuff.
Now, the only reason why I can see this having a purpose is for people who are hard of sight, like they can't read subtitles, but there are shows they want to watch that just aren't dubbed. So then you kind of just have like an automatic dubbing thing that can allow them to enjoy a show, even if it's not very good and it's not using real life people, which is definitely a controversial thing. So there's a possible reason for it, but it's so bad.
I think there's that's a good use case in the instances in which there aren't that brings me to the second question I had anyway. We'll talk about all that, but like for starters, Amazon, we mentioned before how companies just like to take away things from the consumer and things get less valuable for us, et cetera, et cetera. We already talked about, Taco Bell and Netflix or Crunchyroll taking away the free, the ad-supported streaming or whatever. Well, Amazon must be really fucking cheap because these royalties, getting the dubs for something like Vinland Saga from another property, from another company, which I think... Let's see here. Who owns the dub for Vinland Saga? Thought I had it here at the bottom. You would think that they could easily just acquire the rights to really any of these dubs that they want with their immense amount of money that they have. But instead, they still tried to cut corners, I assume, and bring people an AI dub that would require no royalty payment when they already have so much fucking money. I mean, it's really hard. It's really hard to wrap your mind around. I mean, if you look up how much money Amazon makes per year, it's an astonishing amount of money. I mean, we're talking Amazon brings in more profit per year than most of the countries in the world, and it's a pretty wild thing to think about that they're willing to cut corners like that. So then you go back to the dub actors, and you're right, they were pissed off. So, in his own statement, voice actor Damian Mills, who is if you Google him, I guess it's Damon Mills. I'm sorry, it's not Damian. Damon Mills looks a lot like Macaulay Culkin. I'm not gonna lie. I can't lie. If you Google Damon Mills on Google, you may think Macaulay Culkin, but. Called the AI-generated dubs for Banana Fish a, quote, massive insult for us performers. Quote, voice actors deserve the same level of respect as on-camera performers. Anime already pays very little. Dub production costs shouldn't make a dent in these companies' pocketbooks, which is kind of what I was just saying. Using AI for a dub of a show that released nearly 8 years ago and had no rushed schedule, just spits in our faces, has infuriated the consumer and completely destroys the art. I got to agree with that.
Yeah,
I mean, there could be some case where, this show's coming out too fast, it's new, we can't get the dub out in time. People get angry either way. It's either, the dub sucks, or it's, there's no dub at all because we couldn't get it done, and maybe they put an AI dub in, I don't know. But in this case, he's talking about Banana Fish, which, I mean, like it or not, that anime came out a long time ago, and... They have no need to really rush it. They probably could have acquired the dub for 5 figures, probably. Maybe even low 5 figures. Well, like $10,000 and they get the dub, right? And they just didn't even. But the funny thing about that is Damon Mills. There's no fucking way Damon Mills is getting any of that money. So I don't know. I don't know why he cares especially, but like when you work for a company like Kadokawa, or Aniplex as a voice actor, they pay you by like the hour for your work. You're not getting paid a royalty because Amazon plays your dub. Kadokawa or Aniplex is going to get the money. So, I mean, his statement about infuriating the consumer and destroying the art, well, that's... Man, I don't want to sound like I disagree with him too much, but I guess I kind of do a little bit. I mean, I guess it does infuriate the consumer because nobody wants to have a shitty dub like this, especially when a dub already exists. But destroying the art, I just don't know. I mean, we can also just watch the subtitle. So I don't know what you guys think, but I'd love to hear it. But yeah, I don't necessarily agree completely.
I don't agree with him either. The thing is, there is a group that strictly consumes English dub, but I know for a fact that there is a large group of people out there that consume their anime with original dialogue and subtitles because they feel that English voice actors are vastly inferior to the native speakers, and things tend to get lost in translation. But I would also argue that the original language Japanese voice actors probably are the best in the world. I would stand on that. And I just don't think, outside of a very few, enough people care. Like, as far as like who their dub comes from. So that part of the quote art is less concerning to them. That's probably the least concerning thing. They want it to look good. They want the story to be good. They want their favorite manga to be adapted. Unless you're talking about a really famous voice actor like the English voice actor for Solo Leveling, I just don't think enough people give a shit. So I disagree with him just based on raw number of people that care.
But about who Damon Mills looks like, I don't think he looks that much like a Culkin. I think he looks like Brie Larson. Look up Brie Larson, and there's this photo of her, one of the first few photos that pops up, and it's like, it's so similar.
All right.
Oh my God, you're right.
Okay.
You're right.
All right, I'm going to pull this up on the stream, and I'm not good at this, though. I'm old and decrepit, so bear with me here.
That's all right. And you're sick.
So I'm not sick. I just have eternal coughing, and I have the eternal coughing and phlegm syndrome that seems to occur whenever you get like a little chest cold, and then you just like cough for the rest of your life. Yeah, that's right about where I'm at right now. So, all right, so I got it up here. Let's look at shrink this down. Let's look at Damon Mills, and we'll look at Brie Larson here.
I love that this is part of the show now.
So let's see here. I'm doing my best. Damon Mills. So here's Damon Mills, and I swear to you, if you don't think this looks like Macaulay Culkin, you're out of your mind. So we'll pull them all up. I don't even know how to spell Macaulay. Why can't he have a normal name? Macaulay. Yeah, Jesus. You spell his name Macau. What the fuck? So I don't know. This is like Macaulay Culkin, Damon Mills. This picture of Damon Mills and this picture of Macaulay Culkin, they I don't know. Now you said who? Brie Larson?
Yeah. So specifically the photo of Damon, like with that white background, I think he looks a lot like the photo of Brie Larson with the dark background. The first thing that pops up on Google.
I guess we'll let the chat decide, but I guess they all do a pretty similar.
The one on the lower third.
See it. I totally see it. I think that's spot on.
Okay.
Caroline.
If you were watching on YouTube, you'd be able to see what we're talking about. But I guess I should pull up more pictures of Macaulay Culkin now. Who I don't know if he's even like doing anything anymore. But all right. Yeah. I still think Macaulay Culkin. Anyway, we're getting off track, but yeah. So I do have a couple questions for you guys. So my first question is, first of all, I want to say something real quick. There were some responses from the companies that are actually involved in this. So Kadokawa, which distributes No Game No Life, said it had not approved the AI dub in any form. High Dive said it was not aware of the AI dub and is looking into it with Amazon, which is just crazy. Like, Amazon doesn't even have... I mean, High Dive is literally a tiny shit stain in your toilet compared to Amazon, so they probably just didn't care to even like get them involved. Aniplex, which is the one that distributes Banana Fish, said that they has not yet released a public response to the AI dubs, and let's be honest, they probably won't, because no one likes banana fish anyway.
It has its fans.
Yeah, I'm just kidding anyway. So would you guys rather have, so I think that your point about the people that are blind was really good, particularly when there's no dub out there to be had, when there's no other option. But would you two rather have the AI dub option if no other possible dub exists for people who like dubs? And would you watch such a dub if no dub? Like, sometimes, I guess what I'm asking is, some people may, even if they're not blind, would possibly watch the AI dub simply because they don't want to read the subtitles. Does this hold any water for either of you, and do you see that as being a possibility for people?
Here, in a perfect world, here's what I would think. AI dubs, but like have it be a setting in the back of your account with whoever's streaming it. If you are somebody who requires a dub no matter what, and it seems like an AI dub would be far easier and faster to put out, then that's an option for them. But they cannot monetize that dub. So if they want a real good dub that can be monetized, it has to be through normal production means. That's in a perfect world, I suppose.
So, and talking about the whole accessibility argument, I think that the companies ultimately are going to go this route because, the time that it takes to create a dub and hire the voice actors to do the dub and go through it and hit all the marks. If you've got, I don't know how many countries there are in the world right now, but there's, so many different languages. And if there's like, let's say, there's this one show that it's really popular in Brazil and they need a Portuguese dub really fast, but it's not so easy to put that together, then it makes sense to use something that's AI generated so that can be consumed in the appropriate language. As long as it's used for stuff like that, I guess that's kind of how I see it going. I would listen to it, like, if I lost my eyesight and the only way to consume would be to listen to an English dub, I'm gonna consume it however I can get it. So I'm just I'm a consumer. That's right. I'm at the mercy of the big corporations at the end of the day.
Do you two think that this is an inevitability in the future? I guess I'll give my opinion first. What I think is that with the takeover of AI dubs being inevitable or not, Damon Mills and I'm sure a lot of other voice actors are going to be unhappy about that, but they really don't have any control over it, and no one particularly will care if they go on strike. And unfortunately, it really just requires all the AI to get to the point where it's good enough, and for the consumer to not even really notice. And ultimately, if all the companies decide they want to save the money and just go to the AI dub system, then it doesn't really matter what people like Damon Mills say. So, do you think that this is an inevitability in the future?
I do, just because of the future applications of it as well. Because they do it in anime, it's going to bleed over into gaming and anything else that's got it. Like, they have already had issues with voice actors. I remember last year, maybe it was earlier this year, but the game Genshin Impact, a lot of their English voice actors went on strike, and Hoyoverse basically said, we're replacing all of you. And they did. And I think with the AI portion of it, everybody's looking to make the most money. Crunchyroll's taking away an option that probably fiscally doesn't really hurt them that much, but they're going to bleed every dollar they can out of their projects. And removing the human element from the audio portion of it, I think is just an inevitability.
I think it is also inevitable. Like, I feel like everybody will utilize a tool, no matter how possibly unethical it is in order to make a quick buck. But I also feel like it's also inevitable that there will be regulations in place in the future. I would hope so. I think that with how AI is going, like outside of anime, outside of dubbing, a lot of jobs would be at risk. And so regulations are also inevitable, I think.
To hammer it home, and I think we're all agreeing, in 2024, these are huge numbers. Just get ready for this. In 2024 alone, the total global corporate investment in AI was $250 billion. In 2025, we are forecasted to reach approximately $1.5 trillion in total corporate investment in AI. $1.5 trillion. That encompasses all corporate investment and related expenditures. So it certainly speaks for itself. Pretty much every company that has any significant means of utilizing AI are dumping just untold, probably historical record amounts of money in it. And so this is definitely, because of that, not only is the accuracy and the, I don't even know what the word would be, the quality of the AI is going to explode, and these companies are going to want to have a return on their investments, and so they're all going to be using it. And I don't like it. I think it sucks, but I think that's where it's going. So, do you guys have
any more clips to end this on?
Oh, I do. Shit. Thank you. You know what, Caroline? Thank you. Yes, we do have.
I just want to listen to more.
That's fine. I have some good ones from Banana Fish. So here we go.
Damn it! Everyone's crowding into this tiny space. I need space to move. I said I need space.
You overgrown son of a bitch! Hurry, this way!
Don't let
Come on!
Get after him! I read all your moves. I saw right through you.
No, stop! Don't do it! Ash!
Skipper, no, please, no, Skipper. Hey, stay with me. Come on, Skipper. Hey,
You gotta fight. Don't die on me, Skip. Don't leave me, please.
Don't leave me, please.
No, Skipper.
No, Skip. Don't leave me, please.
I don't know what's worse, that or Gal Gadot's Kal-El. No.
I got another one, and this is my favorite. Here. This is my favorite. This is the last one.
Watch your mouth, you little rascal. How many times do I have to tell you Dino's orders?
I have business to discuss with Dino, and not with you, so move.
Aren't you making movies anymore? I used to be a big fan of yours, you know? You're still good enough as you are.
You piece of shit.
What?
I told you you're a piece of shit. Nothing but an overgrown fat pig.
Mitch, I am begging you to use that last clip as one of your impression rejection audio clips.
Yes.
It has to become one of your rejection audio clips.
Okay. All right. I'll make a note during the news break. Just for you. God, it's so... I just got to say, when you listen to those clips and you think about all the AI you hear on YouTube, it is a mile apart. I don't know what the fuck Amazon was trying to implement here, but it's not. It's nowhere near the cutting edge. So, good Lord. Any closing thoughts before we go to the news break?
If there's anything good that could possibly come out of this, is that we got a new rejection drop, and it's
true.
Very funny.
That's true.
I mean,
Rejection.
it's a golden rejection drop. Nah,
I
it is
say
what it
time
is.
for the weekly trivia question here. City the Animation is which studio's first new anime series in 6 years? And we will head into the news break and then give you the answer.
Hey, Anime Addicts, Mitsuki is here, and I'm bringing you that sweet round of anime news, getting started off with an anime adaptation of a property The Weakest Tamer began a journey to pick up trash, another light novel about a tamer. So it looks like this is getting another season. The first season was produced by Studio Masket in winter of 2024. Crunchyroll did have the simulcast anime with subtitles and dubs in different languages. So if you want to check out the first season, you can get it on Crunchyroll. So the author Hono Bonoru 500 began writing this story on the Shotsetsuka Ninato website back in 2018. So this is a pretty popular property, and that's why it's getting a second season with some very cute art and some cute monsters. The promo image for the second season features main character nuzzling what looks like a very Dragon Quest-esque blue slime. So if you're a fan of these shonen properties, if you like some lighthearted stuff and you want to see the second season of this property, you should probably watch the first season first, but you can get your taming on coming up here next year. Next up, Yami Shibai. This is just crazy. Yami Shibai is a horror property that does short stories and has never really, in my opinion, been known for having especially good anime, but this is getting a 16th season in the winter of 2026, and I don't care what anybody says, 16 seasons is crazy for any property to get. So someone's watching Yami Shibai. It's not me, but Studio ILCA will be putting out more Yami Shibai coming up here not too long in the winter of 2026. It'll be here before you know it. Next up, well, Spy Family is hitting the burger chains. So it looks like Houston's Trill Burgers, which is a chain I've never had, but I don't know, the picture looks good, is going to be doing a Spy Family collaboration to show what fans in Japan have been enjoying for all these years with the anime-themed food. So the award-winning Houston-based Smash Burger chain is going to be having this collab. Looking at the picture, they describe the burger as double patties with American cheese, but it also has 2 pickles under it, sour cream, and is covered by a bed of beef stew. That sounds insanely messy, if you want my opinion. So if you want to check it out, Anime News Network has the story with some photos as well. It does come in a pretty nice looking Spy Family box with some interesting art. So if you're anywhere near Texas and if this chain Trill Burger happens to be in your area, you might want to check it out because it is topped with a sunny side egg. Next up, people are very excited because at long last, the underrated Shonen Jump series Siren is getting an anime adaptation. So this is a pretty old property. I believe Siren is something like 18 years old. It's a pretty old manga and never got an anime adaptation, but to the surprise of many, this is indeed going to be happening. It was announced not too long ago, so everything should be officially confirmed by this point. But check it out online if you want to see what Siren is all about. For those of you that don't dip into the older properties, you may not know, but check it out. You're going to be able to watch a new anime of an old manga coming up here pretty soon. This was Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. Time to get back to the podcast. All right, time for some YouTube. I wonder what kind of horrible commercials I get subjected to this time.
Pizza or salad?
Oh, it's this fucking guy with his abs.
What do you think I'm having for dinner tonight?
Who really gives a shit?
It's definitely not this rabbit food. Why?
Skip.
Because
At Tommy John, we
YouTube, why do you hate me?
Comfortable underwear. And
Stuff that underwear in your mouth so you stop talking. Before you check out every episode of this podcast, I bet you're really missing having to look at dudes' abs or see bulges in men's underwear simply because you're trying to check out some anime. But of course you don't, and we won't torture you with commercials like that. Instead, you can help this podcast remain ad-free by heading over to AAAPodcast.com/join or Patreon/AAAPodcast. You won't have to listen to any horrible commercials, and you'll be getting 8 exclusive extra podcast episodes a month, our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, and our after party episodes just for you. Again, if you want to help us remain ad-free, go to AAAPodcast.com/join or Patreon.
Now presenting Burning Questions with the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast.
Would you rather
Yeah, I like these.
no.
I like these.
have
no.
taste buds in your butthole
What the fuck?
or poop out of your mouth but not taste it?
Taste buds in my butthole.
So you would rather taste your poop? as this shit in there.
Oh, well, you didn't explain what was
That's why the taste buds are in your butthole, is so you would.
okay,
God.
yeah. Taste buds in my butthole.
Oh, God.
What was the other one?
Or poop out of your mouth, but not have to taste it.
I have to go with that one.
No.
I mean, that's disgusting.
Taste buds in my butthole.
No, you want to taste your own poop?
Now, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
You have taste buds in your mouth.
Yes.
If you hold your nose and eat food, you can't taste it. If I hold my nose, do I still fully taste it out of my butt? It's a valid question. It's a very important detail in the answer.
No, you have to squeeze your penis.
Oh, God.
Because that is the nose of your butt.
And now, back to the podcast.
And the magic of Swan Lake rises. We're getting blown off of Twitter right now. So the intro of weekly trivia question. Let me see. I got some of this other music here we can play. All right. City, the animation, is which studio's first new anime series in 6 years?
Why is this playing?
Kyoto Animation.
Why not?
I don't know, because why not? Kyoto Animation is the answer, so good job. And you know what? It shows, because Kyoto Animation, yeah, just good stuff. All right. Is it time for mailbags? Yes?
It is time.
I think so. Yes, I think so.
Time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag.
That's right. And today's mailbag is brought to us from TBJ, and you too can submit us a mailbag if you go to AAAPodcast.com, click that mailbag button, and send us a question, and eventually we will answer it on the podcast. So, TBJ says, "Hey, AAA, have to start by thanking Mitz for recommending bathhouses in Japan.
Fuck yes.
I don't think I would have gone otherwise. My question is, does anyone have a standout gaijin moment story from their time in Japan? Mine came during my first bathhouse experience. The protocol was to wear your hotel yukata into the change room, but little did I know people wear underwear underneath. I was wearing mine like a hospital gown, free balling all the way. When it came time to drop the robe, I think that definitely caught some people off guard. Anyways, love the show. Thanks all."
Let's see. What the fuck?
I have never been to Japan, and I didn't really have a gaijin moment in Korea, so I don't really have anything to add to this. But Mitz, I know you've got some stories.
Drop the robe. I think I definitely caught some people. Okay. All right. So I'm reading this, guys. So listen. Okay. There are some things you need to know about me. Okay. First of all, I love being naked. And I consider myself an expert on Japanese bathhouses, sento onsen, and the like, the ryokans as well. This guy sounds like he went to a ryokan, which is a Japanese inn, which is a little, you know what? This is so much effort. I have to crack open my second source of caffeine. I will die on this show one day as I crack open a 200 milligram caffeine pink lemonade ghost, which is what I will be soon. Let me take a sip. Delicious. So, a ryokan in Japan is extremely pricey Japanese inn, which is usually featured. The key features of that are they will give you a house robe when you get to the hotel. They often feed you a multi-course meal that's included with the with the room, and it will normally have at least one bath, usually several baths, usually some private baths, and also a public bath. If this guy or a girl, I don't know, TBJ, went into wore their yukata into a changing area that was inside of the bath area, not in the main area where regular people are just hanging out, and you weren't wearing any underwear under your yukata, and you took it off and you were freeballing, and other people got shocked by that, they are fucking idiots. There you go. When you're in Japan, if you were to go to a sento, which is probably the most common type of bath in Japan, which is usually categorized by being not a naturally fed hot spring, which is, to me, I don't really care. Nobody is wearing underwear under anything. You literally you'll walk from the main counter area into the men's locker room in a total of 20 steps, and it's just penis everywhere. Literally no one cares. Same for the women. So to be going into a bath of any kind and be expected to have any kind of underwear on is ridiculous. I don't know where you were, but that is fucking ridiculous. Now, you were asking about gaijin moments, I think. So a gaijin moment, to explain to people listening, is essentially in Japan where you do something that is not by the normal protocol, so to speak, that the Japanese people follow, and you look like a dumb fucking foreigner when you do it. Back in the day, people used to say gaijin smash. They said you could get away with anything if you're a foreigner in Japan. You could crash a turnstile at a train station and claim that you didn't understand the rules, and that oftentimes the train attendant would not bother to pursue you as you were trying to flee because they didn't want to have to try to speak English to you. That is a great example of a gaijin smash. But for me, a gaijin moment, there are two I will share with you. One was recent. It was at a sento in Japan, which didn't have even remotely close to what I would call normal procedures when entering the bathhouse. And I talked about this briefly on that little extra episode I did for the baths. If you haven't listened to that, I definitely recommend you do. I put my shoes in the female locker, a locker that was for women, I guess, that in my opinion wasn't very clearly marked, and I went into the changing area, which was being manned by an old woman that was having to look at lots of penis because there was nothing blocking her view from the men's changing area. And I gave her the woman's, so when you put your shoes in, you can take the little wooden key out that like locks the shoe locker. I gave it to the woman, and she looked at me like I was an idiot and indicated that this was for the women, basically threw my ass out until I figured it out, and then I fixed it. And then she got to look at my little man because there was nothing stopping her from having full view of the entire locker room. And which I thought was super bizarre, by the way. It would probably be very uncomfortable for the women if a man was manning that booth, and I am told that at times it is a man. So that's very strange to me. Another example would be in Japan, anytime you go into a business that has a toilet, there's a very high probability that there will be slippers in the shoe area if you had to take your shoes off when you entered the main business. So let me give you an example. English conversation school in Japan tends to have a genkan type area where you'll take your shoes off before you enter the school. And then they have classrooms and all that shit. And you will change into slippers to walk around inside the school because they want to keep the building clean, etc. Well, because you don't have any of your own shoes after you've taken them off at the genkan, when you get to a bathroom in the building, there will be another pair of slippers in the bathroom because they don't want you to take off your house slippers, and they don't want you to wear your house slippers into the bathroom where it's dirty. So they have a dirty slipper in the literal bathroom for you to use. Then when you leave the bathroom, you're supposed to take your dirty slippers off, put your house slippers back on. But Mitz, back in the day, forgot and was wearing his bathroom slippers through the main building. And it was a crisis. And they hated me.
I don't have any story. I've never been to Japan. I was trying to think of some potential gaijin moments. Like, I did go on a study abroad to China. I can only think of a couple of like small things. Like, for example, I was in Beijing by myself, and I really wanted some dumplings at dinner.
Of course.
But a lot of restaurants are family style. Like, I'm sure there are some that are, good for just single people. But I went to this restaurant, and there was dumplings on the menu, and out came a plate of 30 dumplings. Now, I wasn't all that upset because I love dumplings. I could not finish that plate. I think I ate like 15. But I can only imagine, like, maybe the server thinking to himself, this American white girl is ordering a whole plate of dumplings meant for a whole family. What is she doing? But the power of dumplings was strong. And secondly, oh shoot, what was it? I had it in my mind.
You know, while you're thinking about that, that is not on.
I got it.
Okay, go ahead.
In my dorm room or building, they had washing machines and dryers, and I have no idea if this is a thing outside of the university I was at, but the washing machines and dryers were gendered. Like, the girls use certain washing machines and the boys use certain washing machines, and everybody was using these washing machines, and there was no more girl machines, and I'm like, I'm just gonna put them in this boy washing machine. Who cares? I'm not gonna be waiting 45 minutes for somebody's to finish. And like some classmates were like, "You would use the boys' washing machine?" I'm like, "Yes."
What difference does that make? Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck?
I don't know. I don't know if that's like if they actually cared, or if that was just a system they used and they thought it was strange that I was deviating from the system. And I have no idea if this is something that happens outside of that school, but it's just a strange thing to me.
You deviator.
Yeah, well, I'm disgusting. I used a boys' washing machine and dryer.
I've heard of foreigners being thrown out of all-you-can-eat restaurants because they price the menu for Japanese people, and Japanese people they tend to be smaller and they probably don't eat nearly as much as we do. So when you show up at a all-you-can-eat like meat place with, I don't know, 4 or 5 foreigners, the foreigners can eat a lot, and they don't expect that. So they'll start off by slowing down the rate at which they bring you your order to try to get you to the 2-hour mark and get out of there. But I definitely have heard of people being just thrown out or refused additional food because they've already gone so far beyond what the restaurant expects to serve a person that they're like way past the point of being profitable, and they'll just like stop serving you, so to speak. That's never happened to me because I'm not able to eat an insane amount of meat, but it has happened apparently. So Japan, they don't give a fuck. They play by their own rules. Japan will even still refuse service to some foreigners for the sheer fact, for no other reason than the fact that you're a foreigner. So that kind of thing is astonishing to Americans because you're like, you would never go to a place and be like, oh, you're from South America. We're not going to serve you at our restaurant. Like, you don't hear about that really much. It doesn't happen really too much. I don't hear. I mean, sure, it happens somewhere maybe, but I don't hear about it. In Japan,
sure, it used to happen. These days, it just can't.
These days, it can't. But in Japan, they are still like. I literally had a conversation with a guy who works for my company who, God bless him, he was given remote privileges and literally goes to foreign countries and works like in the middle of the night so he can like live in Japan for like 3 months while he works for my company. And he told me just the other day that he was refused service at many places in Osaka. And I was like, oh, well, okay. Anyway. If you want to leave a mailbag, do it on our website, AAAPodcast.com/mailbag. We love to get them. We love to answer them. And we love hentai mailbags. Very much so. You can leave the most obscene, crazy fucking mailbag you want, and I will read it for you. Okay. You guys ready to talk about City?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big credit to Caroline for pivoting. We were going to do Gotcha Yakuta on this episode, and we realized that it wouldn't be done in time. So we pivoted to City. So God bless Caroline for having the wherewithal to marathon City all in the last minute.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I had started early on Gotcha Yakuta. I'm like 17 episodes in. So I was well prepared to finish it out this past week. So when last Sunday we were talking about like, oh yeah, it's not going to be finished. We got to change it to City. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. 13 episodes, whatever. And I realized like the episodes are longer than the typical 23 minutes. And it's 13 instead of 12. And it's a gag comedy. So yeah, it was a tough week for me.
And this is why Caroline got sick. Because it was just too, yeah, I'm just kidding. So City is an anime that is done by Kyoto Animation, which hasn't been doing much lately because of obvious reasons. We all know what happened with Kyoto Animation. And if you don't know, I don't know where you've been, but yeah, I would just look it up. I'm not going to talk about it again here. But as the in-show trivia question said, this is their first new series in 6 years. It's on Amazon Prime, so that's where I watched it. It has a dub. It also has, obviously it's subbed as well. So it's about this synopsis is kind of funny because this anime doesn't really have a plot line, but college student Midori Nagumo lives in an ordinary city that has a lot of really eccentric people living in it, let's say. And this girl is very reckless. She runs around, causes chaos, and brings the city to life, I guess is a way that you could put it. But she's in debt, and her landlady is trying to shake her down for unpaid rent, and her best friend won't give her a loan. And honestly, this anime is just about like this city and all the vibrant people that live in it that bring it to life, and essentially gives you snapshots of their daily lives in a comedic way to try to bring life to the city, I guess is more or less how I would put it. And Midori and a couple other characters are just main characters that are frequently shown through these little vignettes that this anime has. It's based on a manga, and it's 13 episodes long. So let's see, who directed this? Because I really think that the directing was quite good in this. Let's see. It's probably a KyoAni person. Let's see here. Director Ishidate Taichi, who has directed, let's see, lots of stuff. Violet Evergarden, which is a KyoAni, I'm pretty sure. Violet Evergarden movie. He's done, just everything Violet Evergarden. So I think you could pretty much just go with that. Kyokai no Kanata, movie 2. So definitely a KyoAni person. Pretty much just has done all of this stuff with Violet Evergarden. What do you guys? What were you expecting coming in, both of you? So let's start with the detective. What did you sleuth out?
So I had no experience with this franchise at all, but when I watched the PV, the animation can't help but capture your attention. It definitely projected itself to be something fun. Looked like it was going to be funny, and I don't think I've ever hated a KyoAni project. So they hold a special place in my heart for some of the projects they've made, and you like to see them getting back to producing after their tragedy. So I was just hoping for something fun.
Yeah, I remember seeing this one listed when we were doing impressions. And, of course, I thought the art looked fantastic from the PV and such. I was hesitant about the synopsis. I wasn't really sure if I was really going to be interested in this one. And I'm not really big on plotless gag comedies. But at the very least, I knew it was going to be a good production. So
City was an anime that I watched right as it first came out and fell in love with it immediately. And I was pretty much week to week on it. So last night and this morning, I only had to watch like 2 episodes. So prior to this week, I guess you would say, I had already seen most of this anime. I immediately recognized the art as resembling Azumanga and Nichijou, which we didn't even really discuss up until now. And I'm fairly certain that if I pull this up, we're going to find that the manga is done by the same people that did the other properties as well. And Azumanga is a very, very good anime that's from like the early 2000s. And if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend that you go check it out. So this is done by original creator Arawi Keiichi, who is the original creator of Nichijou. Azumanga is not listed here, which I find very strange. This creator also has other original creations that haven't been adapted yet, so perhaps we'll get to see some stuff there. But I thought the art was amazing. It caught my eye immediately. Because I had seen so much of it already, I pretty much knew what I was going to get. And ultimately, before even that, I knew nothing of the property, but basically, I don't think I expected it to be a particularly intelligent anime because other shows that I've seen that have similar art styles were pretty, not intellectual or anything like that, pretty dumb. As I would put, just silly and comedic, I guess, as I would put it. And so that's pretty much what I expected from this as well. I think we're going to be able to do a pretty darn long, maybe entirely spoiler-free conversation because this anime doesn't have like fine plot points or deaths or anything like that to go over. But let's talk about it. So, Otaku, would you recommend this anime? What do you think?
I thought that the anime, it pretty much lived up to all of my expectations. It's kawaii, it's funny. I put in the show notes that I could see this becoming a lot of people's comfort anime for many reasons. The fact that it's not tied down to a very specific plot line where you have to pay attention makes it easy, like, to be a background thing. I would absolutely recommend this for people. It's lighthearted, it's fun, it's goofy, and it's very easy to consume. So, yeah, absolutely.
Caroline, how about you?
This one, I can generally recommend it, but for certain things. Like, if you really wanted a cute gag comedy, if you wanted more Nichijou, if you wanted something low-key and kind of funny, but a lot of times the humor kind of went over my own head. It's hard for me to say exactly whether or not I would recommend it because it is a good production and it has a lot of heart and KyoAni is KyoAni. But it just wasn't my favorite. So saying I would recommend it doesn't feel quite right in my mouth. But I will give more details on my general thoughts after you, Mitz.
I get asked by different people to recommend anime. Even my boss at work suggested he wanted anime recommendations so he could buy an anime gift for like the, what do they call it, like the under the needy families or whatever you call it. They had a big one at work, and I have some coworkers that watch anime. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you're talking about Toys for Tots.
Yeah, Toys for Tots type of thing. And anime is so big. Like when I bought that car yesterday, I'm literally like test driving this car, pancakes in the passenger seat, and the guy, the dealership guy's in the back seat, and we're fucking talking about Naruto. I mean, it's crazy. Literally everybody watches anime now. So this anime I've already recommended to at least 3 people, because it just landed. It lands for me personally. I love the art style. I love how this anime's art has such bright colors. I think the heavy line art on the characters makes them very memorable and distinct. It makes them easy to look at. Nobody is going to watch this anime and say it doesn't look great. I mean, KyoAni is KyoAni, and they're back. They're making shows again, and this anime looks fucking awesome. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Maybe you don't like the cartoony style of it, and you want more realistic type animation. But in the end, you're not going to be able to deny that at least the animation quality is good. I also think that this anime has extremely distinct character designs and people in the characters' faces. So in some anime, you find that like a lot of the characters look the same. They just have different hair color, etc. This anime is like some of those other shows. Like, I'm trying to think of some good examples. Like people might have seen Monster, for example, where some characters have big bulbous noses and some don't, and some characters have big eyebrows and some don't. This anime has a lot of unique looking faces, and you get like the old ladies, the older people, the kids. They all look a little different. So I love how this anime looks. To me, it is artistically fucking phenomenal. It's a 5 out of 5 artistically. For me, I definitely think that some episodes are better than others. We'll talk about that, but ultimately, yeah, I think this anime is very recommendable. It has an 8.1 on my anime list. I think that's a pretty appropriate score, and ultimately, I was very happy with it. So, whew, the glazing session. Wow. Good Lord. What were some of your guys' favorite episodes in this, or favorite gag segments? Do you guys have any?
I got a list.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I think everybody really liked the city race. I think that one was probably one of the best episodes.
Super fun.
Like the way that they incorporated so many of their characters, and they paired them up with the obvious pairs sometimes, but then they have them interacting with each other and taking the race, this crazy race, in their own crazy ways. I think that was definitely one of the more interesting episodes. Into having an actual story go, like, instead of just a single vignette, something that takes up, I think, the entire episode, and it tells a story still. So I think that was definitely one of the best ones.
I would agree. The one that actually made me laugh the most, I don't know why, it just tickled me, was the very end of episode 2, Conflict Nikura versus Nikura, where she's having that internal battle of whether or not to pick up the 500 yen, and all these demons just keep appearing to try to convince her to pick up the coin. And at the very end, the angel shows up and's like,
You're right.
You should ask the police. It was, I thought the majority of the gags had good timing. There were a few that flew over my head too. Like, I'll agree with you there, Caroline. There were a few that I was just like, I think if I was Japanese, I would get it, but this doesn't land for me. But that was one of my favorites. And I also liked episode 3, like the bakery gag where they walk in and there's just the one piece of bread, and they think it's like this great big thing, and it ended up being just, what was it, 10 yen, because it was microwaved bread. Like, and it was shit like that, just shit like that, like little things in the different vignettes that just tickled me. And I feel like I could pick like at least one or two out of every episode that got an audible chuckle out of me. What about you, Mitz?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say, Caroline?
I was gonna say, like, for the most part, the vignettes were okay. I had, like, and I can pick out ones that I really enjoyed, but for the most part, I was just watching them and kind of just forgetting about them by the end of it. And maybe that's just my own taste. But yeah, Mitz, go ahead.
My favorite character in this anime is the dad the chef guy.
Makabe.
Yeah, Makabe. He's got some really funny segments. The one where he's like frequenting that one restaurant to become a regular, and then like it goes out of business or something like that. Because he was like, I guess, like the only customer they had. That shit was so fucking hilarious.
Because it's so relatable too. You want to become a regular and say, "I'll get the usual."
Yeah, I'll get the exactly right. But I think every time it's kind of like a situation with like Stan's dad in South Park. You know, some people have
my God.
He has like his own fandom, right? Like Stan's dad and
Randy,
yeah. And so like this guy, his name's Tsuru Bishi. We can just call him Bishi. Little Bishi with his mustache is just like I could just see him having his own fandom, because he just, whenever he's on the screen in this show, was like my favorite moment. But yeah, geez,
I was just gonna say, calling him the Randy Marsh of the show is the perfect analogy.
Oh, 100%.
That's exactly what he is.
Yeah, he's so funny, and but there's other characters too. To me, this show isn't. I mean, obviously, the race is probably like one of the best episodes. But to me, this show is really about like the characters and what kind of crazy shit is happening. I obviously like Midori a lot too. The athletic, like, I don't know. I don't know how to put her. She's just got like a shit-eating grin on her face half the time. So, just ultimately just fantastic.
Well, one thing I had an issue with the show, is the synopsis. And the anime synopsis is actually the one I found for this, for our show notes, because it's very centered on, what's her face? The girl you were just mentioning.
Midori?
Midori. The whole synopsis is about her and her, like she doesn't have any money. She is always asking for money, and she's trying to avoid her landlady, and that's what I think the whole show is going to be. She is very much so not the singular main character of the show. She is just as much a main character as Nikura, as Makabe, as Matsuri and Echan, and all the other. There's so many characters in this show that have just as much screen time as her, and is far more interesting. Than I did not really like her all that much. She was probably one of the more boring people to follow for the show for me. So I just wish that they made a better synopsis. It just should have been like a crazy town with crazy people, but in everyday situations, regardless, like something like that. It's just, that's what that show is. It's not about her.
Well, I think that they do a bad job on. I mean, if we're reading it off of my anime list, which I think is, I think that these synopsises are submitted by individual people, and I agree with you completely. This anime isn't even focusing on one particular character, and a lot of things on my anime list are wrong. Like this, the website only lists there being 3 main characters. Well, I just totally disagree. I think that there's at least 8 probably main characters of this anime, and they all get pretty good amount of screen time. And it's definitely not about just Nagumo's, being can't pay her rent or whatever. It's about a lot more than that. It is really about the city. It's truly about the city and the people that bring it to life and the things that happen in the city that make life interesting. That is really what this show is. And yeah, so I think you said it perfectly. I don't think the synopsis is even remotely accurate.
And not even accurate to her, I don't think. Because, yeah, she's very greedy and she's always looking to make a quick buck, but she has a job. Like, Nikura does not have a job. She's in her room making YouTube videos all day. So who is she to tell Nagumo what she should and should not be doing? At least she has a job.
Yeah. I think I finally learned what comfy animes are by watching this.
Finally.
Let's be honest. Comfy is the shitty way to describe this, in my opinion. I don't even know what that means. Comfy is like pajama pants to me.
Yeah.
But I think that this is comfy for me in the same way that the Boondocks I think was comfy for me during college. Where
the Boondocks was your comfort?
I'm not really sure, but I would do homework for college on the floor of where I was staying, and I would just have the Boondocks on, and I would just let the season 1 play over and over again. Because if that's what we mean, if that's what we mean by comfy, it's kind of like how I can watch the show Archer, pretty much just over and over again, or
The Office or something.
I think it's more comfort anime, where it just, if you put it on in the background, no matter what you're watching it puts you in a good mood. And to me, that's what makes a good comfort anime. For me, for the longest time, that's always been Laid Back Camp, season 1. That's my comfort anime. If I just want to put myself in a good mood, I'll throw that on. I've watched it probably 6 or 7 times, but I don't mind it because it always puts me in a good mood when I watch it.
Let me see. What other anime do I feel like that about? I don't know. When I go to sleep at night, the comfy anime is what I put on to go to sleep, even though I've already seen it 15 times. So I guess Sonic Boom would be something like that. I don't think that's really an anime, but Sonic Boom, I could watch that even though it's made for 3-year-olds. But this is one of those types of shows. It hasn't been around long enough for me to say I've been putting it on at night or whatever. But I definitely could see myself watching the same episodes of this multiple times. And I think part of that is because the show is so monotonous in its tone that it's really easy to forget individual events that happen during the show, because so many of them are similar in tone that they just tend to blend together for me, to be honest. And so if you were to ask me to call out even half of the vignettes in this anime, I probably won't be able to do it, because to me so many of them seem similar. But because of that, I don't remember them distinctly. I could watch them a second or a third time. That's kind of how I feel.
On top of that, I think this is a great show to rewatch, because they don't tell you about these characters very linearly. You'll see a character pop up. I think in the human intersection episode, the episode where Midori gets kidnapped and they have to go through these trials, find their way out of the tower, and then they have multiple screens happening of different people in different locations doing different things. Very difficult to watch, but incredibly made. And these are characters I have yet to meet. So I'm wondering, what are they doing and how do they play a role in this story? And then we kind of learn more about them in future episodes. And so I would hope to believe that in a lot of these earlier episodes, we see these other characters we have yet to officially meet doing things that are very much in character and maybe play a role in the episode that we didn't even realize.
What do you think, Detective?
I think she brings up a good point though, because each episode is probably, what would you say, 4 to 5 vignettes an episode, and it's rapid fire a lot of the time. Like it's just like it goes and then we're on to the next one. It goes and it's on to the next one. So being that it's in that format, the rewatchability I feel is pretty high. So
I'm also ready to call this anime. It's almost an artistic masterpiece in some ways. I think it's absolutely beautiful to watch, and some of the segments are phenomenally animated. And you could honestly rewatch this show multiple times simply because you want to be experiencing the visuals. Like you have to really scan your brain. How many anime look like this one? And I'm going to say that it's an uncommon art style. It doesn't resemble much else except Nichijou and Azumanga maybe. But beyond that, I think this is a truly unique visual experience, and I think that some of the graphic horrors amongst us are going to be into it for that, and I think that people will definitely gravitate towards this anime simply on a rewatch basis just because they want to see it. That's how I feel.
I would say it elicits the similar response to Bakemonogatari season 1. You know, I think the way that story is presented with a lot of the cutaways and a lot of that show has rewatchability just because I know I missed something watching through it, and I feel like this one will kind of have the same thing, like because some of the stories, like you said, they are visually pleasing. Some of the stories were strong and funny, and I think it's easy with how quick some of the vignettes are to miss something and want to go back and see it again. But I think the mark of a good show is just standing on its own. It makes you want to watch it again. And I could see where you're coming from, that there's a lot of artistic merit to the show being very strong. KyoAni always does a great job. I'm not surprised at how much you enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it too.
And I think on top of all the gag comedy, which is for the most part the show, then you have characters like Matsuri and Echan, who were one of my favorite duos of the whole show. And they have such a cute friendship, and I enjoyed their vignettes more than others because I find them very funny in the way that they play off of each other. And like everything is like a make-believe session for them. But then you get to the realization that Echan is moving. And so even through this huge show of just balls to the walls comedy, you have a very bittersweet story in it too that made me kind of, it made me, a little sad to see such great friends get split up in a way, and they don't know how to deal with that because they've always been make-believing and play pretending their entire lives. So when they're finally faced with something real and emotional and they want to run away from it, but they can't. So it's really sweet.
I think that's what you first, Mitz.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, I think one of KyoAni's strengths is no matter what project we're talking about of theirs, they always find a way to tug at your heartstrings and make you think about how would I respond to this not necessarily easy situation. Like there's always some kind of secret, or not necessarily even like a hidden secret message, but they'll like deal with something where the characters are processing through something hard that would be something that others could have experienced on a different level, and they always find a way to tug at your heartstrings. And I think that's one of their studio strengths, and they kept it going this time as well.
I think it's nice to see Kyoto Animation getting new properties that they haven't been adapting. Like, yes, KyoAni has been around in the recent years. Like last year, they did Sound Euphonium Season 3. Before that, it was Sudune, and I think before that it was Maid Dragon or Dragon Maid. I always get that backwards. But those aren't new things for them. Those are just sequels. This is a new property, and I think they're going to be doing another new one next year. And I think KyoAni is just hitting it's getting back into its groove. They're not doing multiple shows a year like they used to at this point, but it's nice to see them doing things at all, keeping things rolling, and it's nice to see old directors that are still hanging around here from the studio, like this Taichi Ishidate. He also worked on Beyond the Boundary, which, obviously probably not as well received as something like Violet Evergarden. But it's just nice to see KyoAni continuing to do work. Would you guys like to see a sequel of City? Because obviously, if there is enough content to do a sequel, and I'm not sure, but if there was, obviously this show has no plot line, has no real continuous plot line that would wrap up, so they could just keep going if they wanted to. Would you keep watching?
Yeah, I would definitely keep watching.
Me
Definitely.
personally, I don't know, because it's a great show. It is it's unique, and there are not many like it. And I certainly wouldn't say I would not want another season to be made. I just don't know if I would personally watch it.
Okay. What other comments do you guys have?
Other than some of the other great characters I had mentioned before, I loved the soccer team. I thought they were very funny. I thought Nikura getting pummeled by a soccer ball like she's Scott Sterling 10 times. That was hilarious, and I loved that.
Let's keep hitting her in the face or something on the hillside.
It's just
yeah.
like she's sitting on the hillside, and she's like a magnet for this soccer ball. Yeah, that was great. And the weird animals and creatures, and then getting down to the sewers, and they're having a conversation. That was a standout for me. I loved those animals and the voice actor they got for that weird cat thing. And yeah, that was just a lot of fun.
So the chatters, Rainbow Warrior in the chat says this manga is still going on, and KyoAni is not opposed to doing sequels. So if this is well received and the manga gets enough content, I guess they would probably definitely do a season 2. Go ahead, Otaku.
No, I was just gonna say I think one of the finer points of the show too is it really does give everybody their little moments, even to include like the random cop who gets his little flowers. I always enjoy when a police officer is just a fun character in the background, and he's not the only one that had that. Like there were numerous characters throughout the show that got their moments, and I think it would do very well with a season 2. I just the format of the story as it is, being not so tied to a crazy main storyline, I think a season 2 would do great, and I would watch it for sure. In fact, I hope a season 2 gets made.
I'm ready to score it. You guys have anything else you want to talk about?
No.
Okay, for me, this anime is great. I think that it's something that everybody should at least watch one episode. It may not be for you, but you won't know until you watch an episode. And I certainly think that it's worth seeing just for the uniqueness of the art. We didn't talk about the OP at all, which I thought was really fucking good. Complete with the dancing and everything to the music, I thought the OP was extremely well put together. However, this anime doesn't have a very strong narrative. I have to be at least consistent in my opinions on stuff like that. It is unfortunate that there's not a little bit of a stronger narrative to kind of carry the story. Therefore, I am only going to give this a 4 out of 5. What was it? Spaghetti they spilled in the guy's pocket, or okonomiyaki? I can't remember.
Yeah,
I think it was crispy noodles.
Yeah.
4 crispy noodles servings into your pocket out of 5. If it had had a stronger narrative that was at least just didn't have to overtake the show, but just be consistently present, I think I could have given it more than that. But for now, I'm happy with a 4.
You want to go next, Otaku?
Sure. I don't think I liked it quite as much as Mitz did, but I still think the show stands very strongly in production, in music, in characters. I am going to give this a 4. Let's go with 4 freeloading roommates out of 5.
Great. I really wish I could have gravitated towards this show as much as you guys did. because there are a lot of great things going for it, and I will never say anything bad about the animation and the art and the colors that they have employed in this show, because if you have a team that's going to put in as much effort as they do for a character picking up a 500 yen coin than they do in a full-on action scene in any shonen show you can watch, that is incredible. There are a lot of good comedy moments in here, but there are also a lot of comedy moments that drag for a little bit too long. Like, I'm waiting for the reaction phase to finally show up, or I feel like this vignette could have been 3 minutes, instead it's 5, and I'm kind of just waiting for it to end. And I also recognize that could just be partially because I had to binge watch this show in a matter of 5 days, because I could not watch anything yesterday. I could not watch anything today. So I had to get it done in that amount of time. So with, all that being said, it's a good show. It's just not necessarily a show that I would want to watch 13 episodes of, with it being nearly half an hour long episodes each.
Yeah.
So, and that's very surprising that they would put in such long episode lengths for a show like this. I think I would be much better suited to it being a short for me, and just having a vignette per episode kind of thing. Or just watching clips of it on Instagram or things like that for me personally. But it is a very well-made show, and I will give it its flowers for that. So I think I'll give this 3.5 Mambo's number 5s out of 5.
You heard that. I was going to bring that. That was one thing I forgot. I think it was episode 11.
Somewhere around there.
Is where it was the closer? Yeah.
Oh, and that whole last episode was like a musical for some reason?
Yes,
Why
that
not?
was interesting, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, why not, exactly. I know, the show did a little bit of everything. All right, so good scores. I love to see it. So I continue. I think I feel my heart growing 3 sizes. I feel myself more optimistic these days.
I am very surprised that you gravitated towards this show, Mitz, considering
Me too.
gag comedies are not necessarily your thing.
I just thought, I think that I can't explain that completely, but I think I'm going to take a shot and say much of the time the Japanese humor just doesn't land with me, and for whatever reason, this humor, I just found it funny. I'm not sure why exactly, but I think I was also just charmed by the art. Maybe it's the KyoAni effect. So, all right.
They
Well,
do
that's
have a way about them.
They do. I'm glad they're back and making stuff, and not that they haven't been back, but I'm hoping to see more of them. So, well, that's our show for today, everybody. So let's see here. What are we doing next week on the show? We are going to be reviewing Fragrant Flowers Bloom with Dignity. So that'll be interesting. So that's a pancake special. And we're going to be talking about hikikomori. I believe that was Lady Emery. She wanted to talk about hikikomori. So looking forward to a little more of a sociological, if that's the word, discussion on that. And again, if you guys want to follow the podcast, you can find us on our website, AAAPodcast.com. If you want to support the show, you can do it on Patreon. Follow us on YouTube. Give us a like. Tell your friends. Be a good fan. And we appreciate you very much. Obviously, you're going to want to go to the Discord, AAADiscord.com, because there's an anime club, and also the Secret Santa is going on there. Although the signups are over, but you could at least scope it out. And you won't be able to do it next year if you're not on the Discord, so don't forget about that. Thank you to Detective Otaku and Caroline for joining.
Thank you for putting up with my voice. I know it might not have been the best listening experience for some people.
I honestly didn't even notice after like 5 minutes, so... Yeah.
Nah, you're fine.
Yeah. We're going to do a Hobby Addicts.
Voice now.
I'm going to talk about some Resident Evil on Hobby Addicts, and we also got some talk about some Little Shop of Horrors, Bad Bunny in the DR. We got some good shit, so head over to Hobby Addicts via Patreon. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Bye.
See ya.